was telling Kate and Kaya that I had a nightmare the night after watching this film. That I had stuff growing on my arm.
no.
I was trying to scrape it off. And I was like, the movie gets into you. It really does make you think about all the different elements. And it is a dark comedy, but also talking about the standards of beauty. When you talked to Elisabeth about this idea and concept and the storyline, how did you even explain the plot line? Like, did you say, we're going to inject this and then this is going to happen? What do you think? Like, is that the conversation you had?
You know what's funny with Lizzie specifically, you know, when I was working on the screenplay, I found it hard to imagine anybody else in the part, but because Elisabeth and I worked together on a TV series, I was very hesitant to approach her about it. I just thought it's not a good idea. Like, she's either going to feel obligated to do it or she's going to say no and that's going to be uncomfortable. So I just never talked to her about it. And it wasn't until she sort of kept sort of bringing up the idea of us kind of collaborating in this way that eventually, like the third time, I was like, okay, maybe she really does want to work together. And I said, okay, you know what? I actually have something that's really right for you, hyper right for you. And I just sent her the script. I didn't give her any context for it, which is kind of a wild script to send somebody without any setup. But I had confidence, honestly, that this movie is, like you said, I think quite memorable and quite sticky. And certainly for me, I see it everywhere in my daily life, something Shell related.
Well, that's interesting. What do you mean by that?
Well, the themes of this movie are just sort of endlessly relatable and universal. We all deal with age, we all deal with vanity and mortality, and then we're living in a moment which is hyper-fixated on appearance. And so whether it's filters or, you know, somebody who was selling snail cream yesterday at a store I was at, the ideas and concepts in this movie are not far-fetched really at all anymore.
And directing Elisabeth, this is a first, right, for you to do that. I think she directed you in an episode.
She's directing me in Handmaid now, yes.
So how was it going that way? Was she a good actress and paying attention to you? Or was she like, you know what, I'm going to do it this way? How did that work out for you?
No, she was absolutely wonderful. It's obviously a different dynamic for us, but it was quite a comfortable one. I mean, the reality is it was a very challenging shoot. We had very little resources to make this movie and very little time to make this movie. And so I kind of needed somebody that good. Lizzie has the ability to kind of deliver a faultless performance on the first take with incredible precision. And I don't think we would have made it through our schedule really without somebody who's that exemplary at what they do. And it's also a very comedic performance for her, and she just did it so naturally. It was amazing. And
then you got Kate Hudson, who plays a great, lovable bad guy, I guess you can say. Yeah. And then you got Kaya, and then you got Elisabeth Berkley. You got like a star-studded women in this film. How did you approach Kate about the idea? Because she was so brilliant with the lines and the way she delivered it.
Oh, she's amazing in the movie. Well, the part that Kate plays, Zoe Shannon, she's a character of a tremendous kind of charisma and magnetism, and also a kind of self-confidence that I'm convinced you can't teach somebody. And, you know, I've met a lot of people in this business, and I've not really come across anybody else who quite has that self-assurance that Kate has. And I couldn't really think of anybody else, and I'm so relieved that she said yes, because I think the movie would actually be much less good without her in it. It's a really special performance.
And I always like asking this to directors. Was this film everything you wanted?
It was everything I wanted, and I'm so thrilled of how it turned out. But I have to credit a lot of other people for that. It was a movie which was, like I said, really challenging to pull off. And you know, my cinematographer, Drew Daniels, who has an aura, I think, also in this film festival, is an extraordinary, sort of masterful cinematographer. And his experience, his talent, his artistry, amongst many others, is the reason that this movie kind of came out the way that it did.
I'm a big fan of Handmaid's Tale. I'm just going to ask you, like, I know you can't tell me anything about season 6, and this is your final season. The experience of doing a film that's so iconic, seen around the world, Margaret Atwood, a Canadian storyline. Did it change you in any way to make a show like that?
Oh, it's a great question. It's been such a gift in my life, mainly because everybody on the show is really nice. And I think we all deal with this in our work life. Normally when you're working on a project, there's always like one person that everybody kind of doesn't like very much. And on this show, we just don't, maybe it's me and I just don't realize. But on Handmaid's Tale, like everyone's amazing and they kind of always have been. It's a very it's a great environment to go to work in, and I'll be sad that we're finishing just because I'll miss everybody.
That just means more directing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a great interview.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.